Gates of Sinai. On their way to secure the Suez Canal, tankers of the 7th Israeli Armored Brigade encountered the 1st Egyptian Tank Brigade. Israel advances, Egypt delays. I still want to try to play the Egyptians here. Although we didn't get to do, well, okay. I haven't checked the scenarios beforehand too much, so we might get other chances to play as Egyptians. But who knows? This is actually a meeting engagement, so it's advanced on the both sides. Standard Soviet shit gear. Or a lot of it. This is gonna be ugly for us, I think. Well, I don't know. What is an AMX-13? Right, it's basically just a gun on tracks. Okay. Right, we need to get into fairly good positions right from the start, quickly. A lot of tanks and some assault guns. The artillery. Yeah, I'm actually happy with this. We're going to just take our positions. Yeah, I'll have the command tank behind the hill. No reason to risk it. I don't think it's even part of a platoon. There could be other groups besides the one here. Who the hell knows? But what we need to do is get into position and basically just wait, more or less. Well, I'm assuming they're gonna come over this hill too, and if we get to fire on incoming tanks from an angle, that's not exactly a horrible thing anyway. I want the formation to be a little different though. I don't want the command tank to be up front. Also need to change the distances where we start to react. Yeah, this is way too long of a distance to do anything from. It's just a waste of ammo. 25 is the effective range, more or less. Yeah, they're not coming either. Alright, now we see what's coming. This is probably most of their force. Not sure I should stay on the hill though. Hills have good visibility, but everyone also sees your ass. This is a 12 turn mission though, so it's not gonna last long either way. A couple of turns maybe to take positions. Yeah, but we need to try to capture those two. Okay, we're going to fight it out for maybe, let's say around 8 turns, then we're just going to do an offensive rush. Because you pretty much have to if you intend to actually win this, instead of just making a draw of some sort. Not sure what to do with assault guns. Thinking of maybe using them as a way to push forward while the tanks more or less just try to hold ground and do the initial fighting. Could also, you know, right, ranges. This is just for the automatic return fire. Yeah, we don't actually have that many good shots, like 5 good armor penetrating shots. I'm not shooting the other side of the map on the enemy tanks. It's just a waste of ammo. At half range, you are at least have a. Ooh, the assault guns have longer ranges. Hmm. So what range are we looking at? 27. Fair enough. Don't think we really need to do much. Uh, assault guns in place, so they are within. I guess are within range of the assault gun weaponry. Hmm. That's not a bad spot. This is a bad spot though. More or less, I want to cover these flags. They also will not participate in the shooting war before that, so they're in fairly good position. Yeah, let's just see what happens. They have a good accuracy on 30 hexes. I still don't think we should start return fire until the 25. No matter how good they are at hitting us, because we will not hit them anyway. So it is a waste. So where are the closest ones? 29. Yeah, the accuracy is 3%. Why is your range 31? It's supposed to be half. I lost the main guns. Still won't mind being actually a target here. Yeah, we're going to die, but they're going to shoot at something. Well, assault guns might be able to be fire at something. 27. right at the edge, well, is it worth firing or not? But it's still an important threshold. I didn't pick it for randomly. The assault guns, on the other hand, should possibly at least be able to fire. It's accurate enough, I suppose. But 2% accuracy is pretty goddamn pathetic. What exactly do we see? I can fire once, basically choose a target more or less. Lucky shot. I'll take a lucky shot. It's blocking our view a little bit, but doesn't matter. This should be a fairly bloody turn, and the one after this. Here, the assault gun types, the AMXs have great guns. It basically goes right through the armor. Yeah, this is ugly, because we're gonna have a huge suppression problem now. No, it's no time holding back anymore. But we can't see shit. Yeah, this is pretty bad. There's not much reaction fire, so we might as well just burn all our shots. We need to get rid of as many of the AMXs as we can. Our armor just won't hold up against them. Well, this shit works both ways. We can get a couple of good kills on them. They're going to think twice before rushing blindly forward. So, a few kills here and there don't mean much. You will never see anything in that discussion. I do have to say though that there's a limit of how much casualties we can suck up without and still being able to just shrug them off. I'm also a little bit disappointed about the accuracy even now. They're definitely within range, but the accuracy is just god-awful. They're moving fast, so in that sense they should be a bit difficult to hit. But they have been fairly good at hitting us, even at those while moving. Thank you. It destroyed the cannon. Yeah, reaction fire is just so sporadic that it's totally inconsequential, but that applies to both sides. 22. We are not doing well if we can only get one kill. 2 would be reasonable at least. But only 1 means the exchange range of casualties so much against us that we have no chance. Then it's the accuracy problem. I'm simply not hitting. So the few shots that we had that would have been effective anti-tank shots are basically we're shooting sand with them. So yeah, I think this is going to be incredibly ugly on this turn for us. They're within good range of us too, except they are hitting much. Yeah, they're much more accurate with their shots. I had like 3% and they're hitting more than 50% of their shots. There's no way I can basically survive this kind of accuracy on their part. Maybe it would have been better to just drive the tanks at full speed. It would have been made them harder to hit at least. Now it all depends on the suppression capabilities. Yeah, it's just not hitting at all, and they're very close. Yeah, we are routed pretty badly. It's 18 the closest. But it's just 2% at every range. This is terrible. Holy shit, we hit something. I think we hit the main gun on that tank too. Okay, you are not going to be able to see shit. We can get a single shot up. Yeah, even at these ranges it's just 2%. I wonder if the game is cheating here, in the sense that you were supposed to play on the Israeli side, so it makes sure that the Egyptian side is totally unable to do anything. But that seems very weird. But the accuracy is just so bad. I mean, and I don't really see a reason why it should be so bad. Too much suppression to do anything. The northern in a tank group is pretty much out of the fight already. Just feels like there's nothing we can achieve by firing at the enemy. Oh, 22%. Holy shit, that's like highest I've seen so far. By far. 11 at 12 hits itself. Jesus fuck. So what we need to do is force this to be as close range encounter as possible. Distance is death to me. Maybe I should move this. I'm not gonna move shit. It's mostly the kills have been caused by the AMXs. So and they're buttoned or retreating or destroyed at this point. So we'll hopefully fare better against the typical tanks. Still, they did a massive amount of casualties on us. And we're successfully retreating. Routed. Yeah, we're trying to take the AMXs down first. They're more dangerous than the normal tanks. They have a great gun, and it's a fairly accurate gun too. Really powerful. I don't really see a downside to the gun. And since most hits seem to be fairly fatal anyway. The little bit of lacking armor doesn't make much of a difference. Right. At close ranges, we're not doing that badly. Holy shit. Oh no, Tanks is back. Tanks is back in action. Hmm. Okay. Assault guns are pretty much our last hope of getting our shit together. Excellent. Yeah. Now they're starting to feel it too. Retreating. There we go. There's the joyful experience of being blown to bits. Probably see the infantry. Oh. I'm seeing kind of a lot of buttoned or retreating tanks. They will still be proceeding mostly unaffected, but getting through this assault tank group here is not an easy job for them. The fighting will basically open up at distances where it doesn't matter what armor or gun you really have. All guns and armor are pretty much equal at that distance. Holy shit. That one got close. So, were you thinking of driving in the river or what? Apparently yes. That is exactly what they're planning to do. Don't have any heavy weaponry. This is more or less just a decoy for them to shoot at. Now you're so suppressed you can't shoot at it. And the entire point was going close to shoot at it. Great. We'll see. This one was retreating and got its shit back together, so he's basically the defender of these flags here. Not, he can stay there in the background for a while. 28. No close range targets to shoot at. Why is hitting that fucking Sherman so goddamn hard? Another warm body here. Assault guns for the win, I suppose. Seems to be working for both sides here. Ugh, terrible. That needs to be destroyed. It's so goddamn close. Yeah, start shooting at the AMX, please. It's gonna get its back together and it'll return without a doubt. I have no idea how suicidal they are gonna be when rushing us, so next turn is our last turn before we have to start making moves to the front. But staying here in our current positions is the best thing we can do as far as winning the actual tank fight, so I'm somewhat reluctant in just rushing forward. As long as they have that tank wave still coming our way, there's no way I can realistically make a forward push to take control of anything. Yeah, they have at least a platoon worth of stuff that's in a ready condition. Maybe 2 platoons. So unless that's sold somehow, it's just not happening. I could try to get some kind of a vehicle to move in that general direction. Hope that they don't spot it. Seems a bit desperate though. But there is a lot of smoke cover here, so it's not totally out of the question. And they have smoke ammunition, so the idea would be to move and just create your own cover, basically. The retreating units would be great at this. Some of these don't even have guns anymore, so they are not able to contribute anything meaningful to the actual fight. I'm doing a little bit of suppression fire at this point. And to attract a lot of attention. I don't care too much. This is a total sacrificial tale. It's the T-34s are just god awful for some reason this time. I don't know why. Hmm. Do we want to send more tanks on the capture job? I think we do. No single tank is gonna get the job done. But if we commit a couple of shitty tanks to it, then things might be different. Yeah, I can't really see all that much. I think we should at least try to alter our position a little bit. They're gonna drive right through that smoke there. I think we need to be waiting for them. Right. How turn 9 and 10 go will determine everything. I need, I would say about 6 kills at least to be able to make push for the flags. Because if they're in their ready condition, even at the smoke is not going to be enough of a cover for us to survive with the assaulting tanks. So I need them to move forward, get some kills, and move at the same time. But if they can get a few kills on us, our defense is going to collapse too. So no telling how this will go. My biggest problem is the T-34s being just god awful. Even at point blank range, it's hard to get hits right. Ready and moving. Bigger worry is probably okay. I think they're moving forward because I can't see them. They certainly aren't holding their ground. So they should be more or less here. Well, coming to these flags very soon. And they're going to have to rely on reaction fire. Okay, I'm not moving anything until we've properly shot at targets. Just retreating. A good rallying attempt would turn things around here. Right, you. 15%. Mobilized. Ah, good enough. Certainly not keen on doing too much with the command tanks. Moving crew a little bit further forward might not be a horrible idea though. They're fairly good spotters. Another command tank. I'm reluctant to move it on this turn without the enemies coming our way. And that'll mean a lot of enemies. Okay, I don't think... Yeah, Sherman's good. Ah, that eases up things a little bit. But only a little. Hiding from smoke screen to smoke screen. They're moving at a decent pace too. Right. They will not be able to shoot at us. The tank provides good cover. Mm, not exactly too happy about what we're doing though. I need this line of destroyed tanks provides good cover for them to come on the southern side of that. I don't like that, so I think we need to move more tanks into position here. They have sort of this sweet spot here that they can proceed, but they will bump into our line of tanks here, and if they go south of it, we have a couple of assault tanks ready to shoot. So, yeah, I think that's okay-ish at least. Question is, what are we gonna do with the rest? Smoke screen works both ways. Very good turn for us. They're not doing badly, but they're at close range, and we have a lot of lines of fire on them. And none of our attacking tanks suffered, so we have at least a couple of turns to try to reach some of the flags. If the game pushes itself a little bit forward for 2 extra turns, that'll improve our situation even further. Still, actual combat capable tanks need to do their thing first. Right. I think we might want to attack with a lot of tanks this time around. Right. There's a lot of AMXs still left. But they can't see shit. That's the important part. Your horrible accuracy just keeps amazing me. You think you can't possibly keep missing, but somehow they just pull through. That's the important kill, because it'll affect these guys. Also, they're rushing at us at a fantastic speed. That's another important thing. Right, they will definitely reach this on the next turn. They are totally unable to do anything on their rear flags. Oh, yep. Let's see what we can do. We do need to actually reach the flags though, so we'll have to start moving a little bit south. Again, just smoke me, bro. We know the accuracy of these tanks. We are not gonna get into a fight. We'd also start considering some maneuvers with the other tanks. Again, the smoke will provide decent cover for us. But we know the accuracy situation is terrible. We are not hitting anything. So, let's take a bit of a gamble with some of them. We still have a reasonable amount of tanks here, so I don't think defensive-wise we're gonna make any kind of a difference really. What do we see? We don't see anything really. This one could be spotted if it moves, but at the same time it can get very close to the intended targets if it does, so it's worth just moving. Also don't have any smoke ammunition, but we are not spotted now, so that's a bit risky. Right, we have quite a few assault guns. I think we are better off moving them forward. If nothing else, we can try to simply drive them to the sides of the enemy tanks. It all depends how much they spot my movements. They can easily react to them if they spot them. Nothing. Okay, color me skeptical about that. You go take a look. Only see the ready and moving. Fog. Smoke. Okay, that's more like it. Ready and moving, ready and moving, ready and moving, and ready and... So, definitely heavy fighting gonna happen here on the next last turns. Which is fine. Perfectly fine. We cannot we can only start taking flags on the next turn, otherwise they'll turn around and not attack. That's something we can't afford. But you have smoke ammunition. Yes, plenty. I need to get in a position where I can basically go after whatever I want. This might be the only tank that has a chance of reaching these flags, that's why I'm pushing it. One smoke from cover to cover. Not much we can do here, no matter what we do. They're still fairly close, and I think they're gonna be, even these tanks will move at least to here on their turn. So what I just need to be in within striking distance of these flags. Others will take the other flags. Not sure if we can necessarily keep them. That's not the important part. The important part is that we can contest them now. So they really have to do something. I'm not sure how much it makes sense for us to rush in the line. Yep, because of this. Holy shit. Yeah. Spotters. If we move forward, we're gonna be annihilated. If they move forward, they're gonna be annihilated. That's more or less the deal here. But everyone's gotta move. No smoke ammunition for you. We're going to share a smoke here. A little bit enough. This is the more interesting part. What am I going to do with these guys? They can make a big difference. I think we are more or less holding position for the next turn. More or less, not because we necessarily want to, but because there's not a... Trying to rush forward will not end well for us. We're not in a good position. But neither one of us is. So this is gonna be... Whatever happens on their turn will decide how well this is going to go for us. If we get a good few kills and they can't really break through on these flags, I think we can take most of it. On the other hand, if they turn around or cause massive casualties on us, we can still fall catastrophically. I like our position. We have a good chance of getting it all still. Yeah, a couple kills will change things quickly, but kills either way. We're getting the kills. Right. Potentially the last turn. Some abandoned tanks, some button tanks. We didn't. There were many more tanks than we actually destroyed, though. Many more. And you can't hit it. It's in hugging distance and you can't hit it. Crew destroyed. We don't want to move this yet. It's in a fairly good position movement-wise, but has no capability of actually fighting. I would imagine that the enemy has some units here, so whoever goes in there is gonna be in a bad position. But at the same time, we sort of have to go in. We need the flag at the very least. Yeah, they're button. This is a nice lineup though. This is terrible for everyone. Command tank gets to fire its main gun. Killed something, excellent. Sabot round. Right. I feel this group is the key to everything now. Because they can cause a good amount of damage, and they can also get horribly murdered. They are not needed to take any of the flags either. We could just position them here without moving much, and if the enemy tanks here move forward, they'll face this group. If they pull back, they would face this group. Uh, but someone needs to secure these flags at the very least. Preferably someone we don't really need that much. Like, the important part is to force him to react to these. Right, so we control all the flags now. So what are you going to do? Gotta do something. Apparently he's facing a decisive, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be decisive because we got a lot of casualties on our side too, but definitely a guaranteed loss. No getting around that one. So how are we going to position ourselves? I'm going to make it so that even if they literally just drive on the flags, it's not going to be so simple for them. Yeah, retreating. They're in fairly poor shape. I'm gonna go there and just spot things. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die, but ready, retreating. I'm seeing about a platoon worth of tanks where most of them are retreating. The retreating units will still react fire though, and I do need to cover those flags, so I'm not gonna push forward these units. The assault guns are a different matter. Yeah, these assault guns especially. I'm going to force them into a situation that if they try to drive on any of the flags, they're basically going to drive into the assault guns. Okay, decisive turn. What are they going to do? What can they do? Nothing. We won. Nice. You have won a marginal victory and suffered moderate losses. A fair assessment. But I would still be happy with something like that. Nice. Tank fights or vehicle fights than battles tend to be more enjoyable because uh, uh, they're more manageable and they go through in a reasonable amount of time. Also, uh, we got our ass kicked initially at the long range, but we're able to turn it around by using the smoking remains of our own destroyed tanks to form our battle line. So, and basically sneak our tanks to their control flags. So it was an enjoyable fight, even though still Mostly using World War II gear. Is the next one still World War II? Probably. Yeah, we're getting more time skips. So another decade plus. Let me see one thing. Any battle will do. I just want the Israel is as good as any. I just want to see the actual units. At what point do we start to see something decent? Exactly. Need time frame. No, we don't need that. Give me a goddamn helicopter somewhere. Huh? Where are these located? Can't even see that. What I want to see is at what point in time. There we go. Do we actually start to see some of that shit? It should be, yeah, available from X date to end date. So Bradleys are fairly new, just from the 80s, but there should be missile using things. Right, 70s. 80s is a big change. Well, the missile tech comes available in the 80s, but there should be much more earlier things than that. Dragon teams. There's no year on these. It has to be vehicles. Shitty helicopters of some sort come available at 60s, right? So we should start seeing at least shitty helicopters with machine guns that can maneuver troops around, infantry around very quickly. Also act as spotters. A helicopter is an actual unit like a tank on the battlefield. So you can it can land, it can fly at low altitudes, like right above the treetops, or then go on high altitude. It affects how much you can see and how difficult you are to hit, and what weapons can hit you. But there's a lot of options with the helicopters tactically. A couple of helicopters can basically, especially if you want to take control of flags, helicopters can cross the entire battlefield very, very quickly. So they can just swoop in, drop some troops at the final turns, and you control it. So it changed the battlefield a little bit in that sense. But yeah, 60s it is. 70s we start to say get more advanced here. 80s is where we're all in. Yeah, 67 is the first good gunships. 62 the shitty gunships. Fair enough. Fair enough. So we're reaching the point where we should start seeing something decent. Yeah, 67 should have Cobras already. After that, things should escalate quite nicely. Most importantly, man-portable long-range anti-tank missiles should become a thing, and so will man-portable ground-to-air missiles. So it just changes how tactical options you have in the battlefield. Also, anti-air capabilities missiles are very expensive, while helicopters, while expensive, can actually do more than just shoot at the other flying craft. So it's a while you can counter them, you can't do it efficiently point-wise. So it always favors you actually using the helicopters instead of trying to counter them with some very specific gear. So we'll see. Not sure how it works in the scenarios because you get everything bought beforehand and you have totally useless units in a lot of fights. But we'll see.